There we go. See everybody? We got ourselves a Chupa Batman. Hi, little buddy. Yeah, standing your ground today. Oh, boy. Oh, stretch it out. There's a good stretch. Oh, yes. Got our little buddy. Okay. So, it's Monday. It's very red out there. Crypto is taking a giant dump. One of the tether coins is off its leash. It's no longer tethered. It's flying around like a balloon that lost its knot. And it's down a whole bunch. William Morgan just sent me something before it went live talking about how hedge funds are doomed if Bitcoin drops below $21,000, which if you're a hedge fund and your fate depends upon the stability of a fake crypto money, you did it wrong. So we might be facing all sorts of crazy stuff happening. But until then, and for all those folks that are just showing up now, one of these. Woo! And I turned it off. We've gone a week and a day. I'm going to do it 2 weeks again. I remember to turn it off. There we go. Okay, so yeah, so we pretty much metamaterials like green by a penny. Walmart was green. Clove, I think, was a little green, and everything else was down in the pooper. If you had HYG puts, you are printing. If you had SPY puts, you are printing. If you had calls on the VIX, UVXX, UVXY or VXX, you are printing. Time to bet on the bad stuff because it's happening. It's coming, and there's a lot further way to go. We still have a long ways, I think, until this sucker figures out what's going on. And remember, this is the exact time last year when crypto began dumping. Wasn't it? Wasn't it like this month? And then we rocketed at the end of the month. Let me look at my crypto thing here. Go there, click on that, open this, scroll to there. Yeah, Bitcoin bounced off 30K. Oh, dropped below 29. Let's see here. It bottomed out July, but it had a big drop off starting in early May. Yeah, so we're actually lower than we were May 28th of last year. So here we go. It's happening. It's happening, baby. The Canary is dead. Remember, I was talking last year that when Bitcoin, the bottom falls out of crypto, that is our canary in the coal mine. That is the hedge funds dumping everything, trying to get as much cash as possible to meet their liquidity requirements. The problem is that all those assets they had in digital currencies could not count towards their assets under management. So now they got to dump it all, get that cash, use it to buoy their assets under management, and meet their capital requirements. But also what's happening is probably a lot of them are not meeting those liquidity requirements, and they're having to sell assets to close positions. So we may have some adventure left in the remainder of this month. We're only 9 days in, but we got more to go. So there we are. All right. So and Nobody's E says carrying the gold mine is dead. Yes. Always on. Houston, wife was wondering if Saturn is a good planet. Well, no idea what she means, but is it? I don't think Saturn is good or bad. I don't think it's sentient enough to play a role in the grand machinations of the philosophy of the cosmos, other than just exist. It's so light that if we had a bathtub big enough, it would float. It's less the density of water, so it'd be buoyant. It's a pretty planet. It's probably the prettiest of the planets. It's got that going for it. Okay. Lost Waves. What's up with your boy Satan? I don't know. He does what he does. I have as little control of him as Terra US dollar coin has on the US dollar. Legacy 10 Productions. Houston, does this mainstream media narrative about how retail is causing the market crash signify that we are getting real close to MOASS and fish wears a mattress? Yeah. I think everyone knows that stuff's about to go pop. We're about to have ourselves one heck of a ride, and man, it's gonna be a big one. It's gonna be a big ride. So buckle up, baby. Although I did buy a call this morning only to have GME drop $14 in a matter of minutes. But hey, it's on SSR tomorrow. So, you know, hopefully it'll come right back up for us. It's a June 3rd call. I think we're going to have some popping before then, and then might give me an opportunity to pick up some more later. Sad Boy Incorporated. Houston, what would happen if I bought a 2023 January 950 call option? Would it remain the same? Would one contract become multiple? What would happen to the value of the option during MOASS? Thoughts? I honestly have no clue. I've been waiting for somebody who has a better idea, who's held options through an event like this. I have not, so I don't have any personal experience. I know that when there's a traditional split, you can really get screwed. I had spurt options, and when it turned into GREE and they did some sort of 7-to-1 split, my options did not change with it, and I got hosed. I had like $35 options, and then the price all of a sudden was like $13, and my options were worthless. It went down to 1 penny, and I couldn't even sell at 1 penny. So they just expired, and I lost a bunch of money on that. So I am avoiding long-term options just because I don't know how it plays out when there's an event like this. I may shoot for, just as an experiment, get some sort of weird put. Like when the date of record is announced, I might shoot for what is currently like in the money or just out of the money put or somewhere in there, and just see what happens as an experiment. Just when everything drops, if my put stays the same, right? So I buy a put, let's say at whatever it's trading for, $150, right? And then the price gets divided by 7, so it's like $22 somewhere around there. And so would my put be worth now 12 grand? I don't know. So I'm gonna try it. Might be worth an experiment, but I won't give it a whirl until we have a date of record announced. Alex Park. Hey Houston, are most planets a radiated hellscape? Yes. I mean, yes. If they don't have an atmosphere, yes, they're getting bombarded with galactic cosmic rays and solar rays that are absolutely heinous, and you need to be protected from them, especially if they don't have a magnetic field. Earth has a magnetic field. Venus has a magnetic field. Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, they all have magnetic fields. Mars does not. The moon does not. So you get bombarded with lots of heinous stuff if you don't have a way of trapping those charged particles into Van Allen belts. Holgerson, Houston, greetings from Germany. Is it really happening? And all of the DD proves to be right. Exciting times, man. I think so. I mean, it's weird to wake up and look at the market just absolutely crashing and going, oh boy. Like, we shouldn't think that way, but we now know that it's the only way to beat these guys, is that they lose the power of their assets under management, and that's it. If it coincides with losing those Chinese bonds, with an overall market collapse, with just calamity and inflation and everything else, then I think we come out on top on this one. Who was it that sent me the cool graphic earlier? Oh goodness, somebody sent it to me on Twitter, and I always have to scroll through like 500 of these things. Is it Jersey? Yes, it was Jersey. So let me see if I can bring it up on regular. Nope, not that. Yes, that? No, wrong. Gotta open a new window here. Nope, come over here to this window. Get large. Go to the twatter. go to the messages, click on the jersey, scroll up to, where's that cute little image you sent me? This guy here. Okay. So, boom, boom, properties, and that one. Okay, there we go. So he sent me this groovy. I don't know who made this. Doesn't have a mark on here, but whoever did, fantastic. So here's 2022 graph. Here's 2008, and it's showing, you know, we're in the precursor of this market taking a giant shit, and we might get ourselves a little dead cat bounce and then a full-on collapse happening. So this is May 25th projects would be the squeeze if the market keeps going in the rate it's going right now. That was the VW squeeze right there. So, you know, it's always fun to look at this stuff and what's old is new and what's new is old. What was the human saying about Battlestar Galactica? This all happened before and it will happen again. We like to live through cycles. We're really good at cycles. So, I mean, this graph does beautifully match up. Like, all the big moments seem to be playing out exactly the same way. People have the exact same reactions. So let's hope that in 2.5 weeks, we get right there. I don't know if it'll exactly be that, but I still like looking at it and making me go, all right. Grandpa Barney's here. Holy crap, Batman. Is Island sinking, my brother? I have to tell you, this is a freaking exciting. Sorry, everyone. Waiting to buy back with my 401k. Bought 300 AMC shares today. Still got dry powder for GME liquidity. There you go. Island might be sinking. It has not stopped raining for like 4 months. We had a 3-hour window today, and I went out and did as much yard work as I could. The new lawnmower finally got delivered, so I can mow the yard, which is like nipple high right now. So basically, I'll mow the lawn with the lawnmower pointed like the blade like this, just blow through everything. So hopefully we'll get some dry weather further in the week, and I can do that because the yard just looks terrible. My neighbors are probably like, that hillbilly. He's got a bunch of broken down cars in his yard. His lawn is up to our nipples. But yeah, get it. Get it, Grandpa Barney. Get it. Get it. Okay. Oh yeah, and then Lexi, part of Lexi's question was about the mainstream media. I forgot to answer that part. Yeah, the mainstream media is going to look for a culprit, and they don't want it to be their buddies, so they're going to blame it on us. It's going to be our fault when we know it isn't. We are just playing their game, and they don't like it. So they're going to try and blame us, but the reality is the fault is multi-pronged. One, they didn't raise interest rates soon enough. They should have been raising interest rates from 2016 on. Two, they shouldn't have done the tax cuts in 2008 that basically made it so corporations paid less taxes, and they dumped that all in stock buybacks, and they took out huge loans to do stock buybacks. That also created a big bubble. Three, the amount of money they dumped into the economy did save us temporarily. I will grant that. They dumped a whole bunch of money in the economy. The problem was more of it should have gone to the people and less of it to stocks. Let the stock market collapse, let all that stuff blow up, who gives a shit? But they should have given that 16 trillion or whatever dollars to the actual people, forgiven loans, paid things off, $1,000, $2,000 a month to every citizen during the lockdown, whatever. Because the economy runs on consumerism, and if consumers don't have money, nothing's gonna happen. And now we're seeing the long-term effects of eliminating national production of sensitive materials. So we are now at the whim of a foreign nation to produce almost everything we need because it's cheaper labor. But is it really cheaper? Like, if you're a corporation, you're making, I don't know, DeWalt drills or something here in the United States, and you ship your production to a foreign country, did the price of your product drop with the cheaper labor? No, you're still charging people just as much. So there's zero savings for the consumer. And now the people can't get their drills because the factory's all shut down or shipping is broken or whatever, people are paying even more for that product, and you can't sell it. So your volume is plummeting. People are going to look for new products because it's not like people buy a new drill all the time. They mostly buy one drill and it lasts for them their entire life. They pass it on to their grandkids. So we're seeing that you don't necessarily save money by making your product overseas. It might be costing you a fortune right now. We still have tons of tariffs that have not been removed. We have you can't make money if a factory shut down, period. So if you cleared out a factory in, Flint, Michigan, and moved it all to, Jamaican, China, now your tooling is pretty much owned by a foreign nation and you can't bring it back, especially with the way shipping's messed up. So you're stuck. Any competitor who can get ahead of you on this is going to win. We're in such a weird place, man. It's so weird. Okay. Peace Attack Houston, what sort of supplements do you recommend using when you work out, and which ones should be avoided? I never really did supplements when I was buff. I did protein powder for a little bit, and then I read up on protein powder, and I was like, oh yeah, I do have my cornhole just diarrheaing like crazy. Just stay away from protein powders, man. There's some gnarly stuff in there. Lots of heavy metals, melamine, arsenic, lead, and they're unregulated, and they come from weird factories in China. So I'd just avoid that. Eat some chicken or something. Get your veggies, eat some chicken, maybe a Flintstones vitamin. But just be healthy. That's the way to go. I mean, if you want to get jacked and super huge muscles, then you just talk to those bodybuilder dudes and they'll get you all the drugs you need. So, but then again, you're not necessarily being the healthy one. If you're older, if you're an old guy, testosterone, there's no harm in that. Keep you virile and strong. Just don't become one of those roid rage, pimply freaks who, just wears their cap backwards all the time and wants to fight little people. You can be better than that. Does anyone know what that cave salamander's doing? I don't know if he's moved yet. Yeah. Oh, this little guy. Look at this little guy. He's hanging out with us. Yeah, the big dog's not trying to eat him. He's so happy. Look at that. He's finally like, I'm in my space. I am dark as the night. I am Chalupa Batman. I am the fat little kitty. Okay. And of course that just reset. Stupid chat, always resetting. Alright, where we go? Natsuka Hirabayashi, Teacher's Pet. Right there, that guy? He's Teacher's Pet. And the Nut Muffin also asked, what do you think about the news blaming the crash on meme stock investors? Yeah, they're gonna try, but it's all they're doing. We don't have power over the market. They do, and they wield their power wantonly and without responsibility. And now they're paying the price. Everyone's gonna watch all their shit just go whoop 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 and just delete from existence. Rocket Ming, very small, not particularly detailed coordinates. Let's see here. I'm curious. I am curious. Where are you taking us? Go. Nope, can't understand it. Maybe if I go like this? Nope. Oh, that's because there's a period there. That's why. Put a comma in. There we are. Okay. We're going somewhere on Vancouver Island. We're going to this farm field on Vancouver Island. And there we are. Sunshine Coast. Cool. Right on. There we are. Vancouver Island. Do I need to zoom all the way in? Oh, do I need anything more about this particular farm field, Vancouver Island? And there we are. We are on Vancouver Island. Woo! Okay. That was some Protege Sun level geo coordinates right there. Thank you, Rocket Man. All right. Chad Clifford, Houston, happy birthday. My daughter's rock tumbler is finally producing some shiny rocks. Gonna send you a nice tiger's eye from the bounty. Oh, right on. Fantastic. Oh, I need to go to the post office. I haven't done that this week. Post office. Go to the post office. Go to the post office. Go to the post office. Cool. I'm glad it's working out. Did you get the National Geographic one, or did you just get a different one? They all tumble. They all do the same thing. You'll probably want to get like a bigger and bigger and bigger one, and then enjoy that. Squamsk vacuum balloon hypothetical airship that is evacuated rather than filled with a lifting gas. There are material atmospheric restraints. Job for metamaterial. Ooh. I mean, the risk is implosion, right? You have to maintain structural integrity while it maintains a vacuum. So the reason why like other vacuum chambers don't float around is that they're usually made of really strong, heavy, thick steel, and that outweighs the vacuum of the chamber itself. I don't know if it could be done, honestly. Atmospheric pressure is pretty great. That'd be interesting. Look into that more. I noticed you're back on Twitter, my man. Fantastic. Sorry the other account got deleted because it was hilarious. Bex says, Houston, hold my hand. Tell me we're all going to make it through financially. Have bills to pay. I think we're going to be fine. I'm holding your hand. I'm making little fart sounds with your hand and making you giggle as we walk along, and I think we're gonna be fine. We just have to wait for the comeuppance to happen, and the way the market's going and how much it's dropping. That there's a lot of comeuppances on the horizon here in the next few weeks. Again, if Bitcoin drops below 21,000, apparently every hedge fund in the universe just is done. So I think that means if they dump. They will not have enough cash on hand to meet liquidity requirements, and by then the banks are hosed, everyone else is hosed. There's a credit crunch, and that's where we are. Haj, how long will it take to get to the moon when MOASS? When, like I've said before, we don't know the exact moment or the exact day. What we do know is that each day we are a day closer. Just like earthquakes. You can't predict earthquakes, but every single day you are one day closer to the inevitability of that earthquake. I'm curious to see what the price action starts to happen on GameStop at the end of this month. I think it's going to be a little nuts. If the hedge funds have any gas left in their tank, they're going to try and short the shit out of it the 2nd and the 3rd of June. But that will last for a day or two until all of a sudden there's all these recalls happening from all these lending institutions. And they've got to go out there and they have to find 30, 40, 50, 60 million shares that don't exist. And the buy pressure goes, woohoo! So it's gonna be a wild one. Just sit back, relax, enjoy the show, make your little tinker your lineup, make your little plays. And see if you can squeeze every last little bit out of this you can. Because right now we're getting a hell of a discount. So appreciate that and use it to your advantage. Cameron Mirza, what's your opinion on Amber Heard? Is she crazy? Yeah. I mean, Johnny Depp, he's got his own demons, drugs and alcohol and everything else. But I think Amber Heard is legitimate psycho. Yeah, I mean, she chops people's fingers off. She beats the hell out of everyone she dates. I don't care how good looking someone is. You can't put up with that. It's bad. I would not stay away. I don't understand how hard it is for people to have a relationship with someone and like treat them well. How hard is that? How hard is it to be like, I like hanging out with you and spending time with you. I'm gonna do nice things for you and not freak the fuck out all the time. I don't know why it's that hard. You can just be like, I appreciate you. Here are gifts or attention that I'm going to lavish you with. I'm going to, say good job. That looked great. You were fantastic. And you can just be nice to each other. I don't know how hard it is. But for some people, it's really, really hard. And my advice to you is avoid those people with everything you have and to not be that person. Because, my goodness, it's brutal. Okay. Aaron Salentine, Houston. How will the Be Big Squeeze work out? Will it squeeze like Newegg or Overstock? Also, what's your high on Be Big for squeeze? Well, we are 9 days removed from the date of record. So, either this week or next week, my guess is lenders will be putting out the call to recall. Will be recalling their shares. Because, again, they can take a cash equivalent from the shorts, but that cash equivalent is taxable. Or they can get the Tide share from Be Big and not have to worry about taxes and things like that for now. So that's the realm that they're in. I have not seen the price do much beyond the day that it was announced. Where are we right now? Just a quick little look on the phone. Be Big. Centro. Be Big. Yeah, Be Big dropped again. So it went up to like 3 something. And yeah, hit a high 334 and it's being shorted back down again. It's at 290. So, screaming deal. I mean, it's the stock that's shorted 270%. There should be a recall. Any lenders should be recalling their shares right now, and their shares will be worth a fortune if they recall the 270% that was shorted, and B, they will avoid having to pay taxes on those $10 shares that result. So I think it's every 10 shares you get a Tide dividend, a Tide share. So basically you get $10 for every $29 that you invest right now. That's a pretty good return. All right. So, and if they recall their shares and the price goes up, then their portfolio value goes through the roof as well. So hopefully in this next week or so, we'll start to see some recalls happen. Haj, GME or AMC, which one is the scarier one for them? Which is the sleeping giant? I answer this like every show, but GME is the scary one. GME is the one that's actually taking action and doing things that can directly affect the hedge funds and their bottom lines. And I think they're the ones that everyone's fearing. AMC may have more investors, but unless it's like 10 times the number of investors, that won't matter that much. But the dividend that's coming, the expanded marketplace, the potential for crypto dividends and every other weird thing that GameStop can pull out and the options they have, that is the scary stuff. And that's what I'm saying. It's AMC will tag right along with it. It's like the cans tumbling behind a car that says just married. It's going to go with GME. So are a whole bunch of other meme stocks. But it's a second fiddle at this point. Although Adam Aaron did say that they're shooting for a dividend by summer of 2023. By then it might be too late. But I don't know. Yeah, that's stuff that hopefully they can get there. They can work on that. But, a year too late. Whenever it's been holding for over a year already. Wait for the thing to shake out. And, they're saying that COVID BA4 and others could result in 100 million infections by next fall. And like all that stuff, when it hits, it affects restaurants, movie theaters, anywhere that the crowds of people gather to like be communal human beings. Their bottom line is going to get hit. So I don't know if you can predict that box office draw next fall is going to be worth it or not, and if big profits are going to happen, if we're going to continue to see these waves happen. It's a reality that we're in, man. We got to pay attention to it. Oh, and Aaron 17 also asked, what's your high on B big for squeeze? What is B big's float? I have to look that up again. Oops, let's go there. Let's turn off you. So the float's 177 million. All right. 8% is held by institutions, about 10% institutions and insiders. And right now the reported short interest is 27 million, but we know it's probably more than that because the reported short interest in November was 270%. So this is more shares than Newegg had, I believe. So 30 to 50 bucks. The volume's been insane. So, but the price is really low. So, yeah. I mean, when it squeezes, it'll be more than what you got now. That's for sure. I just wanted to get back to where it was when I bought it, $6.30. It'd be really nice to get above that again. Parataran. The SEC warrant Canary themselves, showing the vote data for GME in 2021 is currently part of an investigation. Feels like the Gov will use hedgy small brokers as more scapegoats. Yes, it's much wiser to scapegoat the hedge funds than it is to scapegoat the retail investors, because retail investors will still be here this time next year, but those hedge funds won't. So you can be like, it was their fault because they don't exist anymore, and you can like go, boo, bad Melvin, who doesn't exist anymore. You may as well blame them. Fried taters in Oahu. Woohoo! Luke Alexander, Houston, how do you see GME dividend playing out in regards to when we'll see the shares in our accounts? I have 20 shares and would love more in my account to sell before the price rockets. I'm curious as to when the price is going to rocket and how much is going to rocket before the date of record. Because this date of record is going to be a big deal. We're talking like billions of dollars at play that will be a taxable event if these big institutions do not recall their shares. And if they do recall their shares, then, you know, let's see here. Where is short interest? Short interest ratio, market beat has it at 22% of the float, which is about 10 million, 12 million shares, which is, I mean, if a recall of 12 million shares happens, that's a lot. But that short calculation is much below what the actual short interest is. So that's just calculating the one of the rounds of lending. That if the same share gets lent again, so it's owed twice, they only count one of those rounds. That's why SC3 started calculating that data. So well, let's just say it's just the 12 million that's reported short interest, right? Wink, wink. Then this 12 million shares have to be bought in probably a week or two period. We saw that just a $100,000 order through lit markets from Ryan Cohen can jack the price like 10%. So moving 12 million shares that have to be legit shares, not other synthetics, to be returned to these lending institutions could result in volumes of 100 million shares trading, 200 million shares trading, depending on how many synthetics are out there. Because you guys know, when people have been transferring their holdings from Robinhood to Fidelity or whatever to TD Ameritrade, that the average price for their shares gets reported are like $3,000, and that's because these hedge funds, or these brokers had to go and find enough legitimate shares. So each share probably had to be purchased like 10 times just to make that trade. So to be like, okay, finally got enough real ones, I could pass them on to Fidelity now. It's brutal. So I think we could see some crazy volume if that's the case. And waiting for it. Fingers crossed. Away we go. Spencer's Inside Out Sweater. For even less risk than puts, try an inverse ETF like SARK. It was originally created to toll Kathy Wood's ARK. I'm up over 100% on it and believe we could see $100 this quarter. All right. It's not a bad idea. Why not? Jimmy D. What? I made it. What's up from Alaska? Jimmy D's in Alaska? Not stabbed quite yet. Everyone gets stabbed in Alaska at some point. It's a rite of passage. They love just stabbing people. Just stabby, 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 stabby. And it's what they do. Okay. Rocket Mang, if hedgies are short everything, isn't this good news for them? Not if they aren't short on the blue chips, right? Like, they have to have long positions in order to have assets under management. And if those assets under management are evaporating, or the bonds are evaporating, like this is literally the worst bond market since 1842. These assets under management are disappearing. They are just like sublimating into the atmosphere and becoming just vapor that someday will cool and condense and rain again, hopefully onto us. But right now, it's they're just watching this stuff just disappear out of their accounts. So no, these hedgies I don't think are so hedged that all their assets under management dying allows them to survive long term. Parataran, first time birthday, second time caller. When do you see the dividend being implemented? Best guess. And do you think the 7-1 ratio has validity? I think 7-1 ratio has validity. Why not? It's about right. Puts it about 500 million share. 500 million shares in existence trading. Reduces the value of the stock, let's say, to $20 a share, which puts it in that AMC realm for tradability. That's if it wasn't shorted like crazy. And when do I think see it happening? Doing it so that let's say we vote, everything passes on June 2nd, and they issue a date of record, which I think can be at minimum 10 days from from June 2nd. So let's say it's June 12th or somewhere in there, or 30 days out, somewhere along that line. I think they have all the paperwork ready to go, and the minute that vote is approved, they just hand it over to the SEC and go bing, make an announcement. So I wouldn't doubt the data record is sometime in June or right before the 4th of July. And so we see just nutso stuff happening in June. We saw nutso stuff happening last year anyway, due to T35s all expiring right at the end of May, beginning of June. So why not compound it and make it even worse for all these guys? So yeah, let's snowball it. Let's keep it going. And then, we might have a squeeze, if that short interest isn't the, 12, 14 million shares, whatever, and it's more than that, we could see the squeeze happen before the stocks get divvied out. And then we see a second squeeze happen when the failure to delivers happen 3 months later. So, and everyone's in default. Oh, you little guy. You're so cute. You're such a cute little kitty. Yes, scratch you up. So we can see ourselves, pumping twice. Once, if you sell before the data record, you're not going to get the shares. If you hold after the data record, you'll get the shares, but you may have missed a chunk of MOASS that could have been retirement country. I don't know. So I'm hoping to play hedge my bets, and I'm gonna be playing some options with it as well, and seeing if a $300 investment here, $500 investment there can mean tens of thousands of dollars, and if anything, that's Survivor. I can go out and I can pick up more shares when needed, do a lot of stuff, wait for the T35s at 90 days, and boom. Bonnie R., do you think the AMC proxy voting can total up all the shares during the submission of votes and can show over float of 516 million? Because when I voted, it showed my total shares. Yeah, it should. I mean, they should be able to just tally it all up. It's all going to be in some Excel spreadsheet or something. So, yeah, they should be like, all right, and summation, and there's 1 billion shares. They can do that. Will they announce it? I don't know. The SEC might be like, shh, don't announce that yet. Just from Dak, should we be personally worried the mainstream media gaslights the public, making them believe we are the reason for the crash? I'm not too worried about that. There may be some people who oh, dude, don't you start. It's just a bird. It's just a bird making noises outside. You don't need to yell at everything. You can just chill out. That can be in your nature. That can be part of you. All right? No. It's just a bird chirping outside. They're allowed to chirp. They exist. Some chickadee or something making chickadee noises outside, and the dog is like, I want to murder it. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Public blaming us. Public A has short memories. B seems to love rich people. So if we get rich from this, they'll be like, oh, okay. And C, we're not the ones going to be going to jail when it's all said and done. So that the financial media can, lay all the blame they want. But the minute those checks stop, dude, I'm going to throw you like a baseball. It's just a bird. It's a bird. It's a bird. It's fine. Okay? It's just a bird. That's all it is. Springtime. They show up. They do that. It happens. All right? Yeah. Oh, this dog needs to live on Valium or something. Yeah, so once the checks stop coming from Citadel and Melvin and everybody else to Fox Business News and CNBC, then the narrative will shift from, it's the fault of all these meme stock guys, and it's actually the people going to prison for this stuff. That's what's going to happen. All right, I'm going to leave this dog in a chokehold until he falls asleep. That's what we're going to do. Just shh. Oh, this dog. Okay. Javi A, if things are about to ignite, why do short hedge funds drop stock price? They are going to buy back in mass. Where is the fiscal gain if retail is holding? This is where I think a bunch of crime is going to come in, because these guys are criminals. They're straight up mob. They're organized crime all the way. They may not make people kiss the ring and stuff, but, and I was theorizing about this a year ago. They sell these stocks short. They don't exist. They're responsible for paying them, whatever. They take that cash, they send it to a Cayman Islands account, and it sits in a Cayman Islands account that's loosely associated with their firm or their fund. And they can say, oh, we got this cash, these liquid assets sitting over here, so we have cash. And then the SEC and everyone goes, okay. And then the minute the shit hits the fan, they cut the tether between the hedge fund and that bank account, and that bank account sails off into the shell company abyss, never to be located by the Treasury or IRS or SEC or anyone else ever again. And then the hedge fund blinks out of existence, but there'll be hundreds of millions or billions of dollars of cash sitting in these offshore accounts that were from naked shorting. And I think, if I can think of doing that, these dudes have definitely thought of doing that. Especially since it seems like a lot of these hedge funds are connected to really gnarly warlords, Russian mobsters, oligarchs, human rights violators, drug lords, authoritarians, dictators, like, you can't lose those people's cash and expect to be like, okay, oh well, sorry, scary Sinaloa cartel guys, your cash doesn't exist anymore. They don't do well with that. So you may need to have that insurance policy of cash sitting offshore somewhere, so that when you do get strung up by your thumbs by some, like, I don't know, FARC guerrillas or whatever, that you go, okay, the cash is at the Caymans, this is the number, please don't hurt me. That might be a good insurance policy for you. Paratarian, Houston, why do people push Venus as a capable second home we could terraform? Seems like an idiotic idea to put, not just to terraform from Earth and move to high hellscape of Venus over Mars Moon. Well, Venus, what Venus has going for it is it's almost Earth-sized, and it has, so we'd have 1 g of gravity. The problem with Venus is that we'll never be able to terraform it. Like, the only way you could do it is if you could somehow lasso that sucker, haul it out to where Mars is, and let it cool off for 100 million years. But the atmosphere is totally heinous. It never cools off. The night side is 900 degrees Fahrenheit. The day side is 900 degrees Fahrenheit, because it's a perfect insulator of super thick carbon dioxide. There is a habitable zone that is at a certain level. If you could make some sort of airship, you could float at this, like, area where it's about 70 degrees Fahrenheit and water can condense and it's not full of sulfuric acid, like lower levels. But anything goes wrong and you crash and burn on the surface of Venus. It's all sci-fi pipe dream. We're never going to be able to terraform Venus. That's just not in the cards. We could end up looking like Venus. If we boil off our oceans, our atmosphere would be 97% carbon dioxide and probably be 400 degrees day and night. So, we have the potential of becoming Venus. I don't think Venus has the potential of becoming us. Did you see George Palikaris' Starlink tweet? I did not. I guess we're going to go look there. And George Palikaris. Happy Mother's Day. That's not Starlink. Van Allen radiation can kill Starlink electronics. Oops. Oh, I should show you guys this. Okay. This is from yesterday's. Well, Van Allen radiation belt can kill Starlink electronics at higher orbits. Glass ceramic plasma fusion coatings should be able to do the job. In the meantime, I know someone who can replace these bulky 50-centimeter dishes with some cool out of this Earth flat plate metamaterial antennas. Well, there you go. Looks like he's making a bid to improve those little satellites. And plus, remember, SoftBank and Amazon are also going to be launching satellite networks that are very similar. So, it's happening. All right. Cool. James Hebb, Houston. I love the show and I love the new intro. Night intro. Mainstream media is already starting to blame Reddit traders for the current market conditions. I don't give a fuck. Pay me. Yeah. I mean, seriously. Like, your neighbors can be really mad at you. Well, then move. You can afford it now. Oh no, my neighbors hate my guts because their 401ks went down. So I moved to a new town and no one knows who I am. Oh no. Upgrade your life, man. That's what we should be pushing for. Ghost of Unidan, Houston. Been trying to catch you so I can explain this. Someone asked a while ago why his tumbled rocks wouldn't get shiny and smooth. It's because he has different hardness in there, like agate and quartz. Ah, so you need to make sure that the rocks you're tumbling are all the same hardness. I'd probably do it. I mean, I generally, I guess when I've tumbled stuff in the past, it's always been the same things. I never thought about tumbling different stuff in there. Huh, yeah. Excellent. Ghost of Unidan. Thank you. Yes. Make sure the hardness of all the stuff in there is the same, and you'll probably get better results. Jesse Robbins, where'd you get your toupee? What? My male pattern baldness it's there. It's all for the taking, my man. So I mean, I can adjust it. I don't know. I'm just gonna go bald naturally, man. I don't have the energy or to ever do the toupee thing. I can be bald. My dad went bald when he was like 22 years old, and I've made it almost twice as long as he did with most of my hair. So I should feel fortunate about that. Yeah. Bald is beautiful. William Morgan, AMC can legally start paying dividends after June 2023, according to Adam Aaron. Adam Aaron also said he's aware of the anxiety over the dark pools and the failures to deliver at AMC would pounce when the timing is right. This is the stuff, like, the timing was right June of last year. And instead of pouncing, they dumped 11 million shares through the dark pools to a short hedge fund. That's not pouncing. That is, like, dropping an upper decker in someone's toilet. Adam Aaron will talk, but he doesn't take the actual actions that would make anyone believe that they would pounce. Like, it's like saying, wait till you see the whites of their eyes, and, then they just run over you. So, David D, 1 billion of Tether just printed out of thin air. That's what they do. I mean, that's how Tether exists. It is a fake coin that's tied to the US dollar, and you can make as many as you want. As long as you sell them, you got that money. And it's yours now, and no one else's. Okay. Oh, shoot. I just lost my spot, of course. Goodness, there's a lot of you in here today. Okay, man, I scrolled a whole long ways to get back up to where I was, and I'm 37 minutes behind the chat. You guys are so far ahead of me. Holy smokes. Okay. No one juggernaut. Doctor Strange is code for apes owning 4 times the float. Sure. Trey Spider, Houston. What are your thoughts on AMC earnings after you said they would have a bad first quarter this year? Actually, I even look at what they're... I should look that up. I forgot. Quarter 1, 22. It beat by 5%. So there you go. So they're expecting 743 million, and they got 787. So there you go. Earnings per share, still a huge loss of 65 cents a share, which was 2 cents better than they were expected. So, hey, looks like they only lost $500 million this time around. So, it's doing better. Quarter 1. Quarter 4, they lost 11 cents a share. And say 196. Okay, so it's not quite the. I mean, it's winter movie season, so it's not where your big money is at. But Batman probably saved them, be my guess. And the fact that they got at least a month and a half of post Omicron movie going, so that's good. But still losing 65 cents a share. Got to do better than that. So they have to start making money and paying off debt. I pay off a lot of debt. I have a lot of debt to pay off. Okay. Okay. Always on. Houston, if the government has to print all this money, does it raise inflation, more diluting the value of the dollar? Yep. But it's going to be combating with the fact that everyone else is going to be dirt poor and not buying anything. So, I mean, wouldn't you rather be a millionaire or billionaire and there's inflation happening than, you know, making $45,000 a year with inflation happening? Take it while you can get it. That's what the rich people will do. So, take it. Joe Bob, I'm too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my shirt. So sexy it hurts. And I am too sexy for Milan. Too sexy for Milan, New York, and Japan. I'm too sexy for your party too. Sexy for your party. No way I'm disco dancing. Right said Fred. Said it correctly. Right there, Joe Bob. And you quoted Right Said Fred perfectly for their one hit. They actually had two hits. They had a second hit that was like the anthem for the South African national soccer team or something. That was like their anthem, and I downloaded it once just to hear it, and it was one of the most god-awful songs I've ever heard in my entire life. And Right Said Fred is a one-hit wonder as far as I'm concerned. I don't know why anybody would get stoked by that other song that became their soccer anthem. But man, yeah. So thank you, Joe Bob, for those wise words, because somebody has to go on that catwalk and shake their little tush, and it may as well be you. Or maybe just this little guy right there. Yeah, little tushy. Little shaky tushy. Oh boy. Are you jelly monkey that the cat has taken over your bed because he's finally like, I'm just going to own this house again? Is that what's happening? Come here. Come here, buddy. Come on. Come on. Say hi to everyone. You can do it. There you go. Yeah. Everyone wants to get a good look at the monkey butt because she's been on the floor all day. Yep. So we got the cat and the monkey butt. The big dog's back there licking his lips, wanting to bark at a bird. The bird shut up though, so you know, maybe he heard what's what. Okay. Okay. Drew, I hope we MOASS after June 9th. I need my shares to go long term. There you go. That is as good a reason as anybody. Cheers to that. Let's let everything go long term. Okay. All right, people have an argument in here. Let's scroll past that. Alex S., if electrons travel at the speed of light, do they experience time relativity? That raises lots of questions. Physicists have been arguing about this forever. There is a crackpot hypothesis that there's only one electron, and that because electrons move in the speed of light, that they can exist everywhere simultaneously at once. So every object, every piece of matter in the universe shares that same electron. It just happens to be like omnipresent, man. I don't believe it. But I don't know, like, there's no sign that the electrons age or decay. So it's hard to say if they experience time. I don't think I'm equipped to answer that question. You know what? Maybe when my sister gets back from her current tour of duty with the Navy and Big Dog gets returned, maybe we'll do a particle physics show where you guys can ask her all the weird particle physics, nuclear physics stuff, because that's her expertise. She is small little nuclear physics microbes and stuff like that. Microbes, not even the right word, microbes. Protons and neutrons, constituent things of matter. So yeah, maybe we should do a show with Captain Rachel and have her answer all your nuclear physics questions. Just methods. When you say if you sell before the date of record, you won't get the shares, are you implying selling all or just one? GME, by the way. I'm talking about any share you sell before the date of record, you will not get dividend shares. You have to hold the shares through the date of record. And then you can sell if you want to. But I don't know if the price pressure will be as large post that date of record, because the recalls for lending institutions needs to be before that date of record. They have to have those shares back in hand before the date of record. So that's why. Jeff McIntyre, what's up with all this U.S. Tether coin I'm seeing on Twitter? How is it tanking? I don't know. The Terra coin is an Ethereum-based coin that has some sort of weird algorithm that's supposed to tie it to the U.S. dollar. But if the U.S. dollar itself is being weird and all the stocks are being weird, I don't know how you hedge against that stuff. I don't know. I don't know the basics of it. But if you buy at 65 cents right now, whatever it is, something ridiculously low. I think it dropped to 61 at some point. If you buy at 65 cents and then the algorithm works itself back out and it's back to $1 tomorrow, did you just make 50% profit? I guess so. But I think the fact that 65 cents means people do not believe that its algorithm works or that the money exists or whatever, and it may never return to that level again. I think crypto is having its own comeuppance. That people are realizing that they dump their money into something, a whole bunch of rug pulls, a whole bunch of unregulated crime folks are behind a lot of crypto, and that the value was false. It was based on greater fool fallacy, that its inherent value was based upon someone else coming along and paying more than you paid for it. And those people have disappeared. They've run out. They've run out of marks for crypto right now. And that all these little shit coins, all these little side plays, they are disappearing by the wayside and vanishing altogether. And, it may be a shakeout in that there's a few strong ones that survive and everything else just becomes like, someday my, pooper coin will be worth something. But I think you might have like a big 5 crypto coins and then a bunch of also rans after that will never be anything big again. We are in a very weird time indeed. Brandon Chandler, if you have index funds, would it be a good idea to pull your money out of the market until the crash? We talked about this last week, and basically that's what I did. I took everything out that was not meme stock related, and I just have it sitting as cash right now. Or I put it into more meme stocks. We still have a long ways to go until the sucker is bottomed out. So, what was the Dow today? 32,000. The Dow is fairly flat today, but if we look at the 5-year, so remember we're at 29 February on Valentine's Day of 2020, and we dropped to 19 about a month later, and we've picked ourselves back up to a peak of 36, and now we're at 32 and change. We still have the ability to drop below where we were March of 2020. I think it's very, very realistic that can happen because people just can't spend as much money. Inflation only goes so far in inflating. Like the dollar being worth less is the main reason why the Dow Jones is as high as it is. That's it. Is that a worthless dollar means it takes more dollars to buy things, and that's why the Dow is where it is. This bottom is going to fall out of it because a whole bunch of bonds are going to go unpaid. A whole bunch of companies are going to go under. And the U.S. government is not going to be directly bailing out these companies like they did in 2020 with PPP loans and all that stuff. It's just going to happen. And I think this sucker is going to fall big and fall hard. Just from Dax, you do another poll in the chat on who owns what. Also, when is the real estate bubble going to pop? I think the real estate bubble is in the process of popping right now. I think we are seeing the beginning of the pop. When the reports come out for probably June, I would bet we see the average home price start to dip a little bit. Do another poll. Okay, do another poll for everyone's holding. The same thing I did last time, like GME, AMC, both. Because we did that and we got like 100 respondents, but we had about half as many people in the show. So let's all right. What do you own? And add option. Okay. Ask my community. Okay, asked. We'll let this run for a little bit. Oh, it didn't pop up. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, so the poll is now in the chat. Click away. See if we can get more respondents than last time. We had about 100 respondents last time out of 300 or so. So we're almost 500 people in here. Okay, now that I know how to do the poll thing, that's exciting. Meow meow. My cat Cosmo told me to give you $5. Well, Cosmo, you're fantastic. Chupa Batman appreciates that. He needs all the steroids possible because he's a fat little fatty who's got... Oh, do you have allergies or an asthma? Yes, you do. That's why you're a rotund little fat guy. Retaining all that water. Right, monkey? Yeah. Okay. Where? Electron question. Tether coin question. That was the pull the funds out question. Chandler. Okay. Mike Lane, it's our fault the market is crashing because we're holding, we are winning. Matt S. Houston, I thought this was a share dividend. Why are you explaining it as a start split? The price shouldn't go down when it's 7 for 1 share dividend, right? You said the price would go down 2030. I was totally mistaken about that. I thought I corrected that on a show. Maybe I corrected it on Twitter. Shit, everything blends together. But apparently the price does go down. I guess it did, but it doesn't reflect it in the common graphs. So like when you look online for Tesla, they just adjusted all the previous price structure on the graphs for the split as it is now, and not for what it was prior to the split. So I apparently was wrong on that, and I correct myself entirely. Okay. Okay. Well, the earnings call, apparently they reduced their debt. I don't know how you can reduce your debt if you're losing 65 cents a share. That means you lost $300 million. You're not reducing debt if you're spending $300 million you don't have. I mean, I guess they do have $2 billion cash on hand that they borrowed. So they used up $300 million of that, and then they took some of that cash they borrowed and they paid back some loans. But it's not. They don't have more cash on hand than the size of their loans, and they've got $3 or $4 billion to raise before they get to that point. Okay. All right, more arguments there. Electron question again. Josh Propels, Tennessee. Favorite sci-fi movie show? Happy birthday. Also, how will the rest of the market be pointing us to MOASS? Also, how do you feel about student debt? Should be forgiven. Oh, man. A lot of questions. All right, favorite sci-fi movie show? Favorite sci-fi movie... Oh, I fluctuate a lot on this, but it's hard to pick just one. But I love the Fifth Element. I love the Matrix. Starship Troopers. Those are probably my top 3 sci-fi movies. Shows: Red Dwarf, The Expanse, Firefly, Battlestar Galactica. Probably those guys. No, dude. People are allowed to exist. Shush. And then how will the rest of the market be pointing us to MOASS? I think the rest of the market taking a giant dump as it has been doing is going to get us there. Oops, that's not what I wanted to type in there. I want to type in that. So S&P 500 dropped below 4,000. It was almost 5,000 beginning of the year. It had a peak of right at the beginning of the year. It was a peak at 4,800, and we are, where are we now? We're at 3,900. We were at 3,900 March of 2021. So basically erased the last 14 months of the S&P 500 is gone. The S&P low was March 2020 at 2,300. So we have another 1,500 to go. We've dropped 1,000. We can drop another 1,500 till we're at March 2020 for S&P 500. And you guys can't see what I'm looking at. Oh, you can. Okay. So that's the type of stuff we're looking for. We're looking for all this stuff blinking out of existence, and that's going to point us towards MOASS. And how do you feel about student debt? Should it be forgiven? Yes. I do not believe people should have to pay for higher education if they go to public university or college. That it costs just as much money to guarantee those loans as it would to just pay for people to go to school. And that our economy, 4 generations since college prices have gotten out of control, they've had to deal with basically a stagnating life cycle. They can't buy homes, they can't start families, they can't afford to invest because they're paying off huge amounts of student debt. And that student debt is undischargeable. The minimum payments are insane and don't touch the principal. So you can be paying for a decade and you'll end up owing more money than you started with. So it's a dumb system, and we need to be like other countries and just, you go to college for free, just like you go to middle school for free or high school for free. If you want to go to private school, yeah, you can take out loans, pay money or whatever. But these publicly owned colleges, universities, they should be tuition free for anyone who wants to go and qualifies. We can clear out $1.6 trillion in debt like that. And why should $1 trillion in PPP loans get forgiven for a bunch of rich people, but not $1.6 trillion in student loans get forgiven for people just because they want to go to college? If we turn our nation into a system that only allows rich people to go to college, then we are no longer a meritocracy. We need to be able to have every single person who's qualified and able who wants to go to school and become experts in whatever field they feel necessary for their life trajectory. That is how you make a great nation. And if you only let the rich people do that, then you will not be a great nation. You will be a downward spiral, has-been nation, failed state. And we need to avoid that at all costs. The entire purpose, like my mission statement for this show that I did in sort of the preview podcast a year ago, was, did we create society to make everyone's lives better, or did we create society to maximize profit and drive revenue? And I totally believe in the former, that we create a society to make everyone's lives better. And I think that we should push towards that and raise everyone up as we can. And that's my belief right there. Woo! We're at 226 votes now. My goodness. Okay. Meow Meow. Voyager's rankings were tanking, so they killed Neelix's girlfriend and converted her into a pure energy as an apology, and simultaneously produced the Boob robot. 7 of 9. Boobs improve science fiction. Yes, it's true. 7 of 9 saved that show. And Neelix's girlfriend wasn't that exciting, although they did bring her back as a vengeful warrior beam of energy. Thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, Neelix also as a character sucked really bad. They had to get rid of him too. Eventually they did. But 7 of 9 saved that show so very much, and she was such a smoke show in a cat suit, and that's why people watched. You need to get those horny nerds in there, for sure. Okay, what's her name? Jerry Ryan? Is that her name? I think that was her name. Okay, we got 238 votes in 9 minutes. Those of you, the other 200 of you, 200 and change, feel free to vote in the doohickey. Where are we going here? Okay. Brandon T. Houston, after the crash, who do you see mainstream media blaming? Apes, China, Russia. Hedge funds. I think the hedge funds, once the hedge funds can't pay to have good news about them anymore, then everyone's going to turn on them because they won't be making it rain. You know, the stripper will smile at you as long as you're paying her. Same thing with those mainstream media folks. Is that as long as you're slipping money in their pocket to say bad things about us, they'll say them. The minute you stop, the only thing they'll have left to do is report on the actual news, which is some hedge fund manager going to prison for selling naked and doing other awful things. Molly McWoolhead. Is AMC authorized for more shares, or do they need a vote to create more? I think they need a vote to create more. They had tried to get us to approve, how much was it? 25 million more shares? I can't remember. Or something like that. And last year, everyone voted no. And they knew the vote was coming, so they pulled it from the ballot. Because all of us were like, hell no. And yeah. And they had just dumped 11 million shares to Mudrick at the time. Spartan, bonjour, Houston. Do you think BBIG could have a run like GME had? No. I think they can have a run, but I don't think they've got the number of investors, retail investors involved to get it run like GME. So that's the big drawback. Like, people only have enough cash and attention to really focus on one main one and a couple of side plays. And BBIG is you know, you got your GME guys, AMC, and then your Metamaterial and BBIG and Clove, and all those guys are down here in this you know, minor leagues. BBIG will have a run, and it will be something that everyone looks at and talks about, but it won't be anything like what GME is going to do, I don't think. Miguel Lopez, do you think the consumer price index data coming out Wednesday will drop AMC and GME? I think we'll drop everything. I think it's going to show inflation still like 7-8% and not getting any better. And the whole market's going to go, oh, shit. What will happen is, what's projected? What's the CPI projected? That's for April. Oops, I put too many twos in there. Okay. All right, May forecast, March 22. Let's see here. Economics. What we got here? Okay, annual inflation rate started 8.5% in March. And the thing is, it wasn't 8.7, so everyone rejoiced. Like, oh, it's only 8.7. This is fantastic. It's still terrible. The UK is at 10% right now. They're saying double digits. So we don't well, we have this March to go on at the moment, but I think it's going to be worse, because this March and April, full-on war happening, We know food stores are getting weird. The price of fuels are going bonkers. That I think we're looking at something similar or higher for April, and that's what I'm betting. Okay. 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 Sorry, scrolling through. A bunch of stuff got deleted here. I don't know what's going on. Why so many things are deleted. People can, they can chit chat and they can have their arguments in there. But I don't know if things are getting out of hand in the comments. I guess delete them. But takes a lot to make me too angry. Robert J.K. Houston, will retail commenting on proposed rule NSC 2022-003 actually do anything, or will it pass regardless? I mean, we've seen plenty of time and time again that it doesn't matter what the public thinks or what the majority wants or what's best, that the powers that be will do what they want. It may end up biting them in the butt if they pass Rule 3 without consensus among all the investors. So, yeah. Sad Boy Incorporated. Houston, what do you know about government contractors? How do I get into that industry? Seems like a great arbitrage opportunity. Say hi to Monkey. Monkey, Sad Boy says hello. Sorry, he did not say hello to you there, Chalupa. Even though you're just the dark kitty of the night, just hanging out, doing your thing, having a great nap. You have to get a business license and register. I looked into it a while ago and then never did anything about it. Okay. I'm going to go to become a federal contractor. Here we go. Small Business Administration. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. So you can become a contractor. You have to get like a government license to be a contractor, which I think anyone can get. I don't think you have to really do anything. And you have to have a business license. And you can use winning contracts to get short-term credit with banks to fund the contract until you get paid by the government. But you have to make, there's also the rules you got to do. You have to pay certain people a certain amount, provide certain benefits, do all these things if they're employees of your company. So you have to follow all those rules. And you start small. If you ever read Dudes and the Guns, Arms and the Dudes, I think I talked about this one. This is the one that movie War Dogs was based on. It's about these like 20-year-old kids that got their license to become government contractors, and they started out with, this Fort Bragg needs 1 million rounds of NATO ammunition, and so they would call around and they'd call like Remington, be like, hey Remington, I want to buy 1 million rounds of bullets. Remington would be like, okay, it costs this much. And so they just took that amount, multiplied it by 9% for a profit, and then submitted that as a bid to the U.S. government. And the U.S. government were like, oh, that's cheapest bid. You win. And so all of a sudden they would just be like, Remington, we'd like to buy 1 million rounds. Can you please ship it to Fort Bragg for us? And Remington's like, okay. And at the same time, Remington had done the bid, and Remington had made it like 30% higher. So they overbid themselves to sell the exact same number of bullets. It's pretty funny. And that's how they built up. They bring, we need propane to go from here to there. Okay, we'll do that. They would find, like you go to the GSA, was it the Gov Sales? I don't think it's .gov anymore. I think they changed the website. Auctions, yeah, USA Auctions. So this is the government auctions website, and you can look at vehicle auctions, charge trucks, alternative fuel. I want where the heck is GSA auto auctions. So you can go to places like here, and one military base might be selling a Hitachi forklift that has 1,000 hours on it for $5,000, and you could buy that one, ship it across the country to this military base that doesn't care if they get a used Hitachi thing, and sell it for 9% profit, and win every single time. Go to the auctions page, man. Oh, that's where I want. How come nothing's opening? What happened to my internet? Come on, internet, do your thing. Do your thing. Go somewhere. Go. Go. It's a little spinny wheel up here. There's a little spinny wheel. Nothing's happening. Anyway, so that's nothing's happening there. That's how you do it. And these kids figured it out. They ended up doing a gigantic bid on supplying arms for the entire Afghan military and police force, and they underbid Raytheon and Boeing and Lockheed Martin and stuff by $1 billion and winning the contract. And their big problem was that the kid who was sort of in charge, he refused to do any political donations. And if they had just greased the palms of a senator or two, they would have been totally fine. But the government cracked down on them hard for using Chinese-made arms that were bought through Albania, and then repackaged and then shipped to Afghanistan. And because there was a ban, you could not use Chinese-made arms, even though technically it was from Albania and the Chinese had made it in the 1960s and so on, whatever. That was the trouble they ran into, and then they all went to jail. So, oops. If you're gonna be an arms dealer, you got to buy off some senators. That's rule number one. Oh, I wish I could see what was deep fucking Cornichon. Cornichon? Apparently shilling away. I don't know what he's saying. Okay. Cronesy Kid, Houston thoughts on selling weekly cover calls on GameStop. I will not do that. Not happening. I will not recommend it for anybody. Because if we get crazy price action, your shares are gone and you will miss out. So unless you're selling way out of the money, then I wouldn't do it. In general, it's a great way to pay for, reduce your cost per share over a long period of time. But when you have a volatile stock like this, that one day can be $99 and 4 days later be $200, I don't think it's the best plan to do. And a lot of people who've been doing cover calls will be getting really burned when this thing turns on. Mount St. Funk. No, that's great. Let people have an argument. Never mind. Let them argue and have do their argument there. Rocket Ming, should I quit my job, YOLO on GME, and retire, or do an apprenticeship with Grandpa Barney? Grandpa, are you accepting interns right now? Apprentices? Have them go work the power lines with you? Singe a few hairs here and there? Become Electro Man. I think we all want to YOLO on GME and retire. That's the goal. I'm holding out hope for it. I'm 75% sure that we can make this happen. And 25% of me is they do squirrely things all the time. But, I'm sure Grandma Brian's a great dude to hang out with. He's got a cool car. So you got that going for you. JR, I bought American stocks, GME, AMC, and Sundial in my Canadian. Isn't Sundial Canadian? I thought Sundial was a Canadian. And my Canadian TSFA. Well, I lose a lot in premiums when I sell. I think your TSFA is your tax-free whatever, right? That's like our 401ks. I don't know enough about that. Like 401k, you can buy and sell all day long you want as you want in there. You just can't take it out of that account before you turn 65 or whatever the date is. I don't know how the Canadian one works. So sorry, Jay, I don't know enough about the tax implications of such Canadian accounts. Hey, I'm only 50 minutes behind now. All right, we're going. Trey Spider, yay, big dog. Bark some more, bigger dog. It's like monkey doesn't make sounds usually. And so when the big dog barks, it feels like my heart jumps out of my chest, especially when it does it like by my head. Whew. All right. Bonjour, Houston. If big rips before the div date, would you sell or wait to get the Tide shares, which could be valued at $10? I mean, it depends, right? Like, if the way it rips means I'm going to get more in cash than the $10 of that Tide share, then I might sell. And then I can always buy back in for when that T35 failure to deliver on the dividend happens and let it rip again. So, why not? I just want to get my $6.30 back per share. I'm still down over 50% on that sucker. Okay. Mike Lang, Girk put out a video 1 hour ago about reverse split. Someone's reverse splitting? Haven't heard of that. Okay, all right. So we're at 360 votes. Holy smokes. So most of you have voted. Let's close the poll, shall we? And see how it went. End poll. Okay, what are our results? Show me the results. Show me the results. Show us the results. Do it. Show it. Show it. Show it. Show it. Show it. Show the results. And okay, so we're at 10% AMC only, 33% GME only, and 55% hold both, with 364 votes. I think it was 5% AMC only when we did it the other night, but we had much fewer people and it was really late at night. And there's probably more European people and Australians in there at the time. So there you go. So there's your poll results right there in the chat for you folks. Okay. Jordan Kimmery, astronauts slowly went through the radiation belt on the way to the moon. They did. They thought they might die. They didn't know what was going to happen when they went through the radiation belt. But they did. They were shielded. Everyone has like a little Faraday cage around them, so that sort of protected them. But they're still getting bombarded with crazy amounts of galactic cosmic rays and stuff. William Morgan, Hang Seng Tech Index down 6%. I mean, China's collapsing just like everyone else right now. Where did... Oh, crap. I was an hour behind, so I gotta go back all the way back up to... All right, I'm cut off at 6:57. So about 20 minutes of your conversations I'm cut off. So I'm sorry. Apologize if you commented between like 6:40 and 6:57. Your chats are gone. I can't see it. Okay. All right. AMC Bowl, is that tap water? Of course. I live in Washington. The water's delicious. We have amazing water. Why? Because it rains constantly and filters through volcanic rock. And it's delicious. You guys are so weird. Bitcoin Charlie says China, U.S. will not crash. Quote source, link in chat. Charlie is wrong. We are in the process of crashing right now. Like you look out the window, it is the market crashing. Hang Seng Index, Chinese bonds, everything is hitting hard. Now, if China were to reopen everything all of a sudden and do away with their zero COVID policy, they'd probably see a bounce back, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, China's bouncing again. But a full third of their economy is real estate, and the real estate sector has dropped 49%. I think it's 49% since this time last year. You basically killed off a sixth of your economy like that. Can you imagine if we kill off a sixth of our economy? Do you know what a sixth of our economy is? The healthcare system. So imagine all of a sudden every doctor, nurse, rehab center, physical therapist, convalescent center, retirement home, step down facility, drug rehab center just blinked out of existence in the United States. What would that do to our economy if people could no longer get the health care they need? Our economy would crash in an instant. So China has basically eliminated 1/6 of their entire economy in a year due to the real estate market crash. And the real estate market is crashing for the exact same reason Bitcoin is crashing right now. The greater fool fallacy is that you buy useless property in one of these, what they call it, soy dirge, is that the name of it? Soy dang? I can't remember the name of the term. These like fake buildings that are just a concrete shell, then has stairs going upstairs. You buy a condo in there and you hold it, and you can tell, a bride to be like, hey, I own a condo. She goes, oh my goodness, where? And you say, oh, it's outside town. And the entire value of that is that a year later, someone else is going to pay even more for that useless piece of flaking concrete than you paid. And that is the value. It's a greater fool coming along. And they've run out of greater fools, especially since a lot of apartments that are being built to live in were being built with prepaid construction. So these families that save up $150,000 US, and they would pay Evergrande or someone similar that $150,000 for a unit in an apartment to be built later, and that apartment would never get built, so their money's gone. Right? It was a Ponzi scheme of selling condos that will someday exist and then never building them, and now that money is gone. So there's a lot of wealth that's just vanished in China as a result. That a lot of family savings, because there's no mortgage system, you can't go out and get a loan from the bank. You have to pay cash. So these, sons, daughters, grandparents, uncles that all pull their money together to buy one of these apartments, and then the apartment never materialized and their cash is gone. And that is a great way to destroy an entire nation's economy. And they built a whole bunch of really cool infrastructure. They built a bunch of cool trains and canals and highways and skyscrapers and hotels and all this stuff. And all those things were built with Western investment into their bonds. And those bonds are not guaranteed, because a lot of municipal bonds are illegal. Municipal bonds are illegal in China, but it raised so much money the Chinese government looked the other way. So now there's $8 to $9 trillion in local community bonds, these municipal bonds, that are never going to get paid back. And so the global financial system has to look at how they spend money and where they spend money and who they spend money on. And I think outside investment in China is going to take a huge hit in the near future. If, you are Royal Bank of Canada or BlackRock or wherever, and you've got $100 billion to spend on bonds. Are you going to spend $100 billion in bonds on China that isn't going to guarantee you ever get your money back? Or are you going to spend that $100 billion in bonds on school districts in, throughout the United States that has a tax base, and those bonds are guaranteed? You're going to find different ways to spend your money, probably at home in the future, once you lick your wounds from getting burned by this stuff. Oh, you're staring at me, buddy. And you're burping at me too. that's kind of the realm we're in. I think Charlie's totally wrong on China. I think China is taking a hit just like everybody else. Oh, you're a scratchy dog. Okay. Ted Tremendous, Houston. Oldest dog Chihuahua at 21. Whales up to 100 plus years. Big trees even older. Why do large mammals often have longer lifespans? MOASS kiss. That's been asked. Like, but you can also have Greenland sharks that have indeterminate ages, like 500-600 years. The longest living creature is a jellyfish. They can literally, it goes to adulthood and then regresses back to its childhood, starts all over again, which is pretty crazy. A lot of cold water creatures live a lot longer. You got sea turtles, or sea turtles can live a long time. Giant land tortoises can live hundreds of years. Why? A lot of it has to do with metabolism. So if you are metabolizing a lot of food really quickly, you get a lot more free radicals that fire through your body. These, like, basically your oxygen gets ripped apart and then one oxygen atom fires off and literally cuts and burns and scars the body. So a lot of your wrinkles and aging that you experience is from free radicals, these little oxygen atoms that break off, because they want to combine with something. So they will combine and basically chemically burn you from the inside. That's why people want you to take antioxidants and stuff like that to age longer. So if you metabolize more food, you are going to experience these oxidation events more. Creatures like little kitty cat here and the monkey butt. The monkey butt wants the cat to get off her bed. You get monkey. Leave the cat alone. I know you want the cat off your bed. I know you're upset. Come on up. You can share it. You can share the bed. Oh, okay. Don't be a dick. Hey, don't be a dick. That's your buddy. Be nice. The cat's just like, I'm going to sit on this box in the closet. We're talking about free. Oh, yeah. So, like, this dude, she could live longer if her mouth wasn't so disgusting. Cats live longer than dogs in general because their mouths are cleaner. Why? Because they got the scratchy tongues. Cats didn't develop a scratchy tongue to, like, lick and clean their fur more efficiently. It's handy. They have a scratchy tongue because it cleans their teeth. It's like constantly giving a toothbrush. You just, it takes off all the plaque and everything. Dogs got gross mouths. They got smooth tongues. They eat all sorts of garbage. So they're much more likely to get sugary bacteria on their teeth than cats. Cats kind of avoid sugar. They much more like savory things. And so the more sugar you eat, the more you can have bad bacteria growing teeth, and then you die of tooth problems. That's one of those things that happen. But yeah, humans we eat a lot of sugary things. We also meet a lot more other humans than other animals do that live a long time. A lot of them live fairly solo lives for long periods, so they aren't exposed to as many diseases and things like that. Where was I going with this? Oh, why do larger mammals have longer lifespans? Because they deserve it. Yeah, I think it comes down to a metabolism thing in the end, most of all. Plus, if you're filter fish feeding, you aren't going to be getting all sorts of crap in your teeth that's going to rot your brain. Okay. Man, you guys are having lots of arguments today. Let's claiming GME goes lower tomorrow. I'm buying another 10 more shares. Might as well get the discount while you can, because we know it's going to go up. Everyone knows it's going to go up. There's no reason why it's down right now if you all know it's going to go higher. I just wish I'd waited a day to buy my call. It will come back. It will come back. All right, got about 15 minutes here, folks. I guess with that, there's a lot of arguments going on, so I'm going to scroll right past the arguments, get down to the bottom, and try to get at least some relevant stuff here towards the end. I'll scroll back about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Okay. Lord Tokers is the Canary Bitcoin. This is that what he said? Yep. The Canary of the coal mine is always going to be these cryptocurrencies, because the cryptocurrencies offer huge ability for these guys to profit big time, and they can dump it and make a lot of cash. Now, the assets of crypto cannot be contributed to their assets under management that they use for margin. So if they need a lot of liquidity, they'll dump that crypto, get cash on hand, and then they'll meet their margin requirements. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing crypto just get dumped across the board. Billions and billions and billions of dollars of Bitcoin, other coins, is just being pumped, cycled through, and just sold. So the price is coming down. I think we've got more ways to go. We might have a dead cat bounce again in a few days. Maybe if inflation isn't quite as high as everyone was fearing, that we might buy a whole bunch maybe on Thursday or something. If that's the case, puts, because it's going to drop again. There's none of this is sustainable. It's all going to keep crashing down. William Morgan, Tesla halts output at Shanghai plant on supply issues, from Reuters. Yep, can't build cars if you can't get semiconductors, right? Especially electric car that needs 2,000 of them per car. So that's going to be happening a lot. I think we're going to be seeing shutdowns more and more. Christopher S. Houston, thoughts on after-hour stocks like Ethereum and Upstart getting crushed? Ader apparently has a huge cost to borrow and a large short interest. I mean, they're trying to crush these prices as much as they can, using every single solitary play in their book they have, because their assets are crashing. So as long as what's under margin and under the assets crash at the same rate, then their margin maintains. But the minute those suckers become disconnected, the assets under management crash, and there's a boom in one of these short positions they have, then they're facing even bigger troubles. And they might not be able to meet liquidity requirements by selling off Bitcoin. Who knows how much shit coins they have left. Those things could all be dematerializing. River Driver 666, how can Grandpa Barney be working on power lines when he's in the live streams almost every day and night? Just curious. Because the power's not out. He's fixed it. He has nothing to do. Yeah, you don't need to send him out there when the wind blows everything over. Grandpa Barney's probably the one keeping us from undergrounding all our lines. He has something to do. Okay. Was Peloton also dying? Peloton was a favorite of CNBC for a long time, but people are now going back to gyms, so Peloton is, Peloton is doing well when everyone was stuck at home. Jonathan, what is the largest single-cell organism on Earth? I don't know, honestly. Valonia ventricosa. What is it? Sailor's eyeballs, bubble algae. What does it taste like? I have no idea what it tastes like, but let's look at it. So what is it? Valonia ventricosa. Oh, look at these things. Oh, you guys can't see because I didn't turn it on. Here we go. Let's go images. Looks like a star sapphire. A green star sapphire. So it's a bubble algae. It's one cell? What? Where are these things found? Huh. It's like a little kelp ball. Seriously, it looks like that's like a star sapphire cabochon. That's cool. Do the same refractiveness of that. Okay, let's. What are they? All. Go Wikipedia. Piece of algae found in oceans throughout the world, tropical and subtropical regions, within the phylum Cryophyta, one of the largest known unicellular organisms, if not the largest. Multiple nuclei and chloroplasts. The organism possesses large central vacuole, which is a multibollular in structure, lobes radiating from a central spheroid region. Cytoplasmic. Basically, it's like has the system of multiple cells, but then only has one membrane. Crazy. All right. Huh. I never noticed these before. I don't know what they taste like. What do they taste like? Edible bubble algae. Tastes. Yes, I taste most macroalgae in my grout systems. Reef Central. What do they have here? Give it to me. It's like half the internet out because some of the stuff is not responding. Oh, it doesn't really taste like anything on our tongues. Well, there you go. Jeez, my knees, Reef Central. Come on, man. You can do it. You can do it. There must be some sort of internet outage happening because the government website was doing the same thing. Just not loading. And it says it doesn't really taste like anything. So I'm going to go with that one because the other one wouldn't load. But, thank you, Jonathan. I've learned something new. That there is Valonia ventricosa, a single-celled algae bubble that is called sailor's eyeball and doesn't taste like anything. So there you go. I did that one, answered that one. Glocksmith Tech Bitcoin ETF just got approved. How would a Bitcoin ETF even work? Like, it's just one coin. Are you buying stock in others that bought Bitcoin? Is that what the ETF's doing? It seems weird. Like saying that I got a water ETF and I just buy glasses of water. I don't know. Luke Z, forgiving student debt is unfair to the people that paid. No, it's not. Here's why. Is that if you paid off your student... Here's the Houston system. We forgive student loans. We make schools tuition free. If you paid off your student debt, I am okay with cutting you a check for the amount you paid off. How's that? Luke Z, would you approve forgiving student loans if you got a giant check from the government for all the student loans you paid off? Would you? Got a check for like $50,000 because you paid off $50,000 in debt? I bet you would approve it then. It's like saying, my parents abused me, therefore I must abuse my own children because I was abused. No, that's not how it should work. Like, end the cycle of abuse. Curing cancer isn't an affront to everyone that survived cancer or died from it in the past. We can make things better without, catering to those who had to suffer the worst of it. How dare you free the slaves when I had to live as a slave? That's not right. These children grow up not being slaves. It's a poor argument. Like, yeah, you paid off your student debt. Cool, good for you. You won't have the problem that everyone else currently has right now. Plus, the people that paid off their student loans went to school for a lot cheaper than they are now. where I originally went to school was $35,000 a year. Now it's like $80,000 a year. What? When was that, Lewis and Clark? 17 years ago or whatever? 15 years ago? Holy shit, 18 years ago. Whoa. But, you know, if every 15 to 20 years the price of a school doubles, not like everyone's salary is doubling. My dad, his entire 7 years of university education, he got degrees in architecture and mechanical engineering. Took him 7 years. He spent less on his tuition, room and board, and even had laundry service. He would literally take his bag of dirty clothes, hand it to somebody. They would wash it, fold it, and hand it back to him. Every week. Every week somebody did his laundry for him. His school was $125 a term. He spent less in 7 years on his university education than I spend in 1 month of student loans. That is a dumb system. When he was going to college, minimum wage was $1.25 an hour, right? And college was $200 a year. Now minimum wage is $7.25 an hour, and college is $60,000 to $80,000 a year. That is stupid. It's a dumb system, and you know, we can fix it. So let's friggin' fix it already. Let's quit ruining people's lives because I paid off my student loans when my student loans were only $5,000 from 40 years ago. Oh, good for you. Meanwhile, I dated a girl this summer. She has a parent from India and a parent from Dominican Republic. Grew up dirt poor, absolutely dirt poor. Neither parent had college education. She was the first to go to college, and she got accepted to USC, which is a fantastic school. If, you come from nothing, you get a chance to go to USC, you figure out a way to pay. So you take out loans and you go to school. And then she got accepted to Yale for a master's degree. So she went to Yale for that master's degree because that's what you do. If you are dirt poor and you have the opportunity to go to some of the best schools in the world and hopefully change your family's lives forever, fantastic. So after her 2 schools and all of her financial aid, she graduated with $80,000 in student debt. And after 10 years of paying, she now has $145,000 in student debt. She's paid everything she could for 10 years, and her debt went from $80,000 to $145,000. That's a stupid system. It's a dumb, stupid system, and we need to end it. That should not be how we pay for school, is that perpetual indebtedness for the rest of your life with a debt that keeps growing beyond any control that you have. This is so dumb. Yeah. So it's get rid of student debt, change the system, make it better so that we can improve people's lives, and stop caring about some boomer who had enough student debt they could work for a summer and pay it off. It's ridiculous. Super Steve, Houston, why wouldn't the government step in and offer fair market value for GME? They can simply pass laws to assure foreign investors this will never happen again. I mean, the government can do that. They could step in and negotiate a contracted settlement. Problem is that the foreign investors will never invest in the United States again if they do that. They'll be like, I'm out. Screw you. I'm never investing in an American company again. And you just lost 40% of investment in the United States. For the same reason, you're not going to find people investing in bonds in China for the near future. You will lose people investing in the United States. So you're gonna have to let this thing do the market play and rip. So that's the way it plays. Okay, I'm gonna roll down to the very bottom here because I'm at 8 o'clock and I'm running out of voice, and there's a terrified cat in the closet who now is upset that his spot got taken on the bed. But he lasted most of the show, so we got that going for us. Mount St. Funk, I just paid my student loan debt off last year at 46 years old. It's freaking ridiculous. Yeah. You're 23 years removed from college, and you're paying your loan. You probably paid more on your loan than you did for a house at that point. Because like the minimum payments are insane and it never touches the principal. So you always have to pay way more than even what would be minimum qualifying. And then You know, they do the payment programs for like adjusted for what you can afford, which all it does is just maximizes that principal, makes the principal gigantic. Because like, oh, you won't pay more than 10% of your income. Well, if you're not earning very much money, right, you should be paying $1,500 a month on your student loans, but you only make $3,000 a month. So like, oh, make your student loan $300. Well, that $1,500 was pretty much all interest. So now you're adding $1,200 in interest or more every single solitary month to what you're paying in your loans, and you're never going to catch up. You're always going to be behind that. So what the government should do, rather than forgiving everyone's student loans, maybe just make the loans dischargeable, and every single solitary American student who has student loans can just file for bankruptcy. Discharge all of it. Blow up every single one of those slabs that someone mentioned earlier. Student loan, basically it's like student loan, mortgage-backed security type things, and just let them all just wither and die, and then from there just make schools affordable. Yeah. Okay. My throat's very dry and scratchy. I want to thank you guys so much for such a lovely Monday show. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. I'm not sure what time. I have a meeting Wednesday morning. May have to drive. And okay. I also have to go to the hardware store at some point and get light bulbs for the kitchen because the kitchen light bulbs stopped working. Things I gotta do. I'll see you guys Wednesday. You'll probably see. I might pop on later and do another GeoGuessr in a couple hours. We'll see if I've got the energy to do it. If I can, I gotta go eat some food and recoup some energy first. But yeah, see you guys then. Sound cool? Still light outside, so you're not getting after dark one. So you get another one of these. Bing!